Take a look at this. Senator Rick Scott wants the U.S. to, quote, finish the job in Iran and end the nuclear threat for good. Congressman Darrell Issa, Republican from California, joins me now. Everyone thinks it's time to finish the job, but no one knows how to get it done, do they?
No, Stuart, they don't. What we know is what doesn't work. And I think that's the most important thing. It doesn't work to placate them. It doesn't work to lift sanctions in return for promises. And that's why the president has done two things. He's eliminated their ability to do most of their warfare, and he's continuing to economically strangle them until he has a verifiable deal, and quite candidly, one that includes the removal of all fissile material.
How much time have we got?
Well, we have more time than they have. Yes, there is a lot of pain, particularly in Europe, and we're doing what we can to ramp up our oil and natural gas to relieve some of that pain. But the reality is it has to continue until it's done. The people of Iran have suffered for 47 years. Their neighbors have been terrorized for 47 years. The country of my ancestry, Lebanon, has been essentially stolen by Iran for almost as long. So all of that won't end until the president finishes the job, which he has said, unlike previous presidents, he's not going to dabble, he's going to do it right, and that's what we're seeing.
But the president is losing ground politically the longer the war goes on.
Stuart, we're not sent here in this republic to be popular. It's nice when we are. Obviously, a lot of people play to the camera. Maybe I'm one of them. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's right. People send you to Washington because they trust your judgment, not because they want you to rubber stamp some portion of the electorate. And in this case, the lessons of the Cold War that dragged on for a very long time, and periodically we went the wrong direction and gave the Soviet Union more time. It didn't end until they went bankrupt. Iran may not end until we bankrupt them, just as we did the Soviet Union. And in this case, we've declawed them to a great extent, but the president's strategy of peace through economic strength is a combination. We're strong, and they're getting weaker every day, and it's starting to really show. When they say they won't come back to the table without relief, that tells you don't give them the relief. Go the other way, as the president is doing.
Okay. A new poll from Gallup found that a whopping 86% disapprove of the current Congress. It only gets 10% approval. Congressman, you're retiring from Congress after 25 years of service. Do you have any advice for your colleagues, how they can turn this disapproval rate around?
Well, there are a couple of reasons, Stuart, that and it's a great question. Even when they vote for their congressman, they do so because they think their congressman has value, has ethics, is honest. Well, they don't think the body is honest. Unfortunately, the 15 people that have retired in disgrace over the quarter century I've worked there is just the tip of the iceberg of why people don't trust Congress. So what do we need to do? We need to work together when we can, treat each other respectfully when we disagree, and most importantly, eject people very quickly and decisively so that people know that we don't tolerate criminal behavior, we don't tolerate illicit behavior, and most importantly, we don't profit from our time working on behalf of the American people. That has to happen, and I hope the next generation picks up where we left off to do much more of it.
Darrell Issa, I hope you can come and see us again soon. Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you, Stuart.